Hey, hi guys, welcome to Cafe IO. Cafe IO में आपका स्वागत है. So in today's video, we will talk about an amazing Git repo that's powered by Awesome, and we will look at multitude of different resources that can help you in getting started with your software architecture learning journey. This is a very exhaustive list, so I'm gonna go through some of them in detail than the rest, and let's get started. So the repo is called Awesome Software Architecture. I will share the link afterwards, and then let's go to the contents. So what has been curated here is a very large list of software architecture, algorithms, different types of architecture such as event-driven, domain-driven, service-oriented, data-driven, microservices, monolith. So different kind of patterns of architecture ranging from cloud to cloud native, platform infrastructure and all that. But it also goes on much deeper into some of the infrastructure concepts like, talking about reverse proxy, service discovery, service mesh, object-oriented design, and then gets into, code patterns like clean code, abstraction, anti-pattern, distributed locking, messaging, gRPC, etc., etc. So this is a very, very nice collection of different resources, and we'll go about some of them in detail. So the first one is software architecture, and let me just open it through. And what you have is, multiple resources, and these are some of different websites that you can scan through. Then there are YouTube channels. I'll also probably suggest you scan my own channel. And then there are tons of different articles that I think some of them are good, but this isn't an exhaustive list. But it's a great starting point if you are trying to collect some content or, brainstorm some ideas or prepare some slides and something like that. And then there are some more videos. I think some of these videos are old but still very watchable. For example, Simon Brown, The Art of Visualizing Software Architecture is great. The Modular Monolith is amazing, and Software Architecture and Code is amazing, etc., etc. And then there are some books. I think these are great books. I don't know all of them, but like for instance this book, which is DDIA, Designing Data Intensive Applications. This is a very, very popular book. Design It is an amazing book. Pragmatic Programmer is an amazing book. I have talked about books in some of my previous videos. I'll also want to add a few more books here from Gregor Hofke, because I think that's very, very, he has written some great content. All right, let's go back. And then he has talked about, shared content on some specific kinds of architecture like ACTA model, clean architecture, onion architecture, etc. I want to get into a bit of depth into algorithms and say that I don't think this is a great list. There's probably better lists out there that are collection of algorithms, but this is a good starting point. So it talks about different algo deck flashcards, which are if you're preparing for algorithm and data structure interview, this is a great site to go. So it's kind of a nested site, and you got to dig what you're looking for, but you can check about different topics here, and you can just scan some of the cards, etc., etc. So this is sort of a interesting place to go for algorithms. And then there's a lot of lead code practices and articles and videos out there. Not a great exhaustive list of algorithms, but a good starting point nevertheless. Then clean architecture, onion architecture, hexagonal architecture. Not gonna get into depth into any of them, but these are different kinds of architecture, techniques, patterns, or paradigms that we typically use. I would highly recommend event-driven, service-oriented, and domain-driven design. Some of them have very few links, while others might have more links. For example, domain-driven design has tons of links. I would probably just stick to few of them because the concept is quite abstract, and the tangibility, and by tangibility I'm referring to how much developers tend to get it, might be very difficult, at least in the early conversations. But nevertheless, it's a great concept for designing. Data-driven design is also very popular. CQRS is more of a design pattern rather than an architecture pattern. I think you can tie it to microservices, which is the next topic, and then there's tons of stuff on microservices. I don't think there can be enough content on the internet around microservices. but this is a good collection of microservices like resources, articles, etc., etc. I would highly suggest, if you're scanning this, also check out microservices.io, which is by Chris Richardson. I'm not sure if it's included here, but he's an author which I admire a lot, and this is quite a lot exhaustive list. I really like this list. So good content on microservices, I'll say. And then this other stuff merged into here. For instance, how do you test services, gateways, observability? There's a lot of stuff on observability. I've recently started on a video, did a video on observability, so maybe I'll probably get back to this link and do a more deep dive into it. And then this talks about some tools, etc. Modular monolith is also a great idea, and it's an architectural approach where you leverage monoliths as well as the ideas from microservices. So you have like smaller and manageable parts of the system, and each of these parts have more responsible interfaces which kind of ensure that a certain piece of functionality is met. Now, it's not microservices all the way, but nevertheless a great concept. Design principles, architecture design principle, very interesting. Cap theorem, cohesion, coupling, cross-cutting concerns, encapsulation, tons of things that are used in very day-to-day practical, and some of them are probably more theoretical in nature. There's always war going on between architecture patterns and design patterns, but I have probably learned to appreciate both of them and put whatever works. Like, for example, keep it simple and stupid or silly, whatever, is not really an architecture design principle. I think it's more of a life principle, if nothing else. And then similarly, there's few other ones like don't repeat yourself, etc., etc. But then there are some interesting patterns like solid, etc., which are included here. But solid is more of a OOD rather than architecture design principle. Again, there's always boundaries that people tend to bridge, and there's always conversations going around for each of this. I would probably just park it. And then there's a design pattern specific slide which he has done to do. So tons of different to dos. Okay, this is there are some to dos, but I think he has covered some of them, some of these topics and resources here. He hasn't added the description for them, but for instance, he has added the links for all of them. So there's design pattern conversation, cloud design pattern conversation, cloud native stuff, platform as a service, different platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, DevOps, reverse infrastructure stuff, etc. And if you want to dig into any of them, just probably click on that system design, for instance, and then you'll get tons of different material on system design. System design itself is a very, very deep conversation and gaining a lot of popularity. I think okay, this has been deleted by author, not a great link. Where was I? System design. Okay, sorry, software architecture. Yeah, let's go back to system design. Yep, is there this any of them? So I'm just trying to bring up some system design. Yeah, so this is referring to an article of system design in around Netflix. What are the different assumptions that people have made? Certain good articles. So this is a good these are usually good articles, but I prefer to instead of reading a blog post on dev.to or Hashnode, I'll prefer that if you are interested in system design, go of any of these popular products, go to their engineering sites. Like Twitter has an engineering site, Netflix has an engineering site, and then you will get a lot of good stuff there. So that's probably it. There's tons of content that you can probably scan through. I'm not gonna go on each of them, and as you go down, it tends to go more abstract and I would say non-architecture related, which is something I did not like. Anti-patterns is an interesting topic, by the way. You should definitely learn about it. Eventual consistency, messaging, transaction management, locking, RESTful APIs, gRPC. These are more, to my view, not really directly an architecture construct, but more of a design and architecture borderline construct. So it's good to have them, but I would suggest start with the very top and then you might have a better success. Alright, so that's it. It's more of a monologue, I would say, that I was trying to have around a good resource that I stumbled upon. Hope you guys like it. Hope you guys like the commentary. Do put in your comments if you want to get deep into any of these, and I'll shoot a video around it. Cheers. Bye bye, guys.